think. Hello, folks. Hello, and welcome to another Workbench Live for the wonderful folks over at eModels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. All of your god-hand needs as well, folks, yes. If you want to know what we're up to build-wise, there's links in the description below. There's loads of words and links and all of that gubbins. Far easier to send you there than trying to remember every kit that I've done on this build. Yeah, with me obviously is a model making guru, also from eModels. We're part of the eModels build team, folks, the official eModels build team where all of the glorious stuff gets done. Yes. Right, let's have a quick gander in Chatland and see who's in there. Myself was in there and saying about the links as well. Jasmine is in. Is it Jasmine? Yeah, it is. Jasmine is in, saying, evening all. Hope you are well. Hello, Jasmine. Big shout out there also for Sophie Loves RC saying hi, everyone. Hello, Sophie. And your package arrived at Festa Towers safely, love. I'll be revealing all on this Friday's stream, darling. So many thanks and a big hug to Sophie. Jasmine says hi to Sophie. Sophie says hi to Scale Model Guru. Retro Rabbit says, hey kids. Hello, James. How are you, buddy? Lovely to see you in. He says there will be a quiz at the end of today's lesson. Yeah, there may well be, mate. Got no idea what the question will be because I've got no idea, mate. Athol McNichol is in, says, evening, Colin and Fox, and whoever else is here. Hello, Athol, how are you, mate? It is a good name for a YouTuber, the Flying Dutchman. Dutch Dave's Model Bench. Yeah, that's a big old name there, isn't it? Says, evening all. Hello, mate, how are you, geez? I take it you're from the Netherlands. Yeah, it's a bit like EC Idaho, wouldn't it, when I turn around and say, what part of the world are you from? Jeff Light is in, says, hi, Cole and Fox. Hello, Jeff, and big hugs to yourself and Maggie, mate. I hope you both keeping well. Sprue and Glue says, hi, Colin Fox, and all in chat. How do, Sprue? How you doing, David? Lovely to see you in. Sophie is giving me a wave. Hello, my darling, and a smile. Ooh. There you go. Yeah. Scary close-up Festa smile. Be careful what you wish for, folks. Yeah. She's also saying, hello, Sprue and Glue. Erwin Nightsing is in, says, evening, legends. Greetings from the Netherlands. Athol says, this cannot be live as both desks are far too clean. It is live, mate. And yes, I've had a bit of a declutter, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, as you can see, I've got stuff to the side, noms and drink and things, but pretty much that's my bench decluttered, mate, because I'm doing the big part work, so I was struggling to get it all on an A4 map, mate.
Bigliness.
Owen says, I had a chaos crafted with Jacqueline is in, says, good evening, gents. Hello, Jackie, how are you, love? Jasmine saying like the Jackie as if Athol. She's saying like the Chaos and Athol back. Sophie says like the Jackie. Jasmine says might as well get it out the way. Yes, bench, belly, beverage, biscuits, balloon and baboon. Belly, southern fried chicken steaks, ash browns with an H and mushy peas, approved.
Mushy peas.
Nothing as was working till late, and Bevy was red cola. See, on my bench about 20 minutes ago was my Xbox controller because I sneaked a little bit of gaming in before I came live. I did. How naughty am I? Well, I was airbrushing earlier in the day and overnight last night, so I thought, let the room vent and everything. Then I came in and set up all of this lot ready for tonight just to check it, because it's what we do now, because Windows is so reliable.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, being that I was sat here with a nice cup of tea and it all went smoothly, I needed to kill an hour. Boom, instant out of the controller. Yeah.
Although we did have a very special moment because he sent me some screenshots. He said, "I'm on the Xbox," and he sent me some screenshots, and I said, "Oh, what's that?" And he went, "It's Xbox." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know which game you spoon."
I did, and I know exactly. I know exactly what you meant, and I know exactly why I said it because I know how much. I know how much you enjoy it when I state the obvious, and the game was actually called Return to Grace, dear. There you go, you know now.
Ooh.
It's basically a poor man's Starfield, but I'm going through games. As you know, I'm learning to get my dexterity because I have unique hands, should we say. Not only are they very big, but they're very twitchy and very shaky, and I'm trying to improve my coordination between my hands. And this game's got a few sections in it where it's balance and coordination, where you're balancing on beams, but you're for me, I keep playing it because I want to just get my and I've made an adjustment to my Elite Series 2 on the left stick. I've adjusted it because my tremors were causing me issues, so I've adjusted that one and the right one, and I could get the dexterity just where I wanted it. So
nice.
I was able to navigate the beam rather than keep falling off and breaking my leg. But anywho,
yes,
belly southern fried chicken. I've read that, ain't I? Yeah, mushy peas. Yeah, Bevy was
southern
red
fried
cola.
chicken's worth it.
Absolutely. Stefan Last is in, says, "Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between and beyond." Excuse me. Jackie says, "I had the Sophie as the Spro." Sophie says, "Bench is a secret sewing project." She's a secret sewing
project.
Sophie. Tommy was homemade chopped chip cookies, drinks milk. Charlie, start the car.
Yep. She's doing them cookies again.
Ron Hetton, I said it with an H there, says, "Hi, Colin Fox and Ollie Chat." Hello, Ron.
Hello, Ron.
James says, "I'm going to be right back. There's a package for me at the front office." All right, mate, we'll wait till you get back.
Nice weather we're having this time of year, don't you think?
I'll just move that there.
I'll just do that for a minute.
Just have a twiddle with me fidget spinner till he's back a bit. Dum da da dum 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 da da dum 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 dum. Is he back yet? Folks? I'll tell you, it's a long hallway, isn't it? Anyway, whilst Jeeves' butler's doing that, we'll put the rest of you out your misery. Natasha's in, says, "Good evening, Festa Fox and all in chat." Hello, Natasha, crafting budgie mama. Ron Hatton says, "Hi to Jackie, Athol, McNick. Oh, dinner of the evening so far. Fish and chips with peas and coffee."
Peas.
Natasha says, "Guess what? I had a surprise delivery from eModels today." Guess what, Natasha? So did I.
Oh.
But I can't say on air what it is because it'll give the game away. But I am going to film it and I'll release the video once the recipient has received it. That's all I can say. It's a stealthy, super secret project. LWM, evening peeps and peepettes. Crafting budgie Natasha says, "Smiley, smiley, 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 smiley." Athol says, "I at the Tash," as does Bill. Yeah. So, how's you? How's my mum?
Oh, excuse me, I'm burping is what I am. I'm fine. Mum Wolf is downstairs with half of a Subway left for a dinner.
Happy days.
She has a Subway when we do a live stream because it's quick.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And stuff. But no, I'm fine. I'm fine and dandy. I was a bit grumpy earlier after I had to apologise to Festa because my camera software wasn't working, so I got all grumpy.
That's all right.
I'm terrible when things don't work. I get really like...
He had his stroppy pants on. I used to have stroppy pants for the boys when my boys threw a wobbler. They had tighty whities relevant for their age, but I wrote in fabric dye, stroppy pants front and back. So if they played me or their mum up, they got fired across the lounge with a ping. Put them on. And they had to put them on the outside of their trousers and wear them for an hour. Oh, mate. Honestly, it worked a treat. So I've got to send him a pair.
Oh no! So I had to apologise to Festa.
Oh, don't worry about it. We all have bad moments. It's not a problem.
Logitech software. Thanks, Logitech, for being so rubbish. Other software providers are available.
Hey, I've got a thick skin, mate. Don't forget, I go in the Zoom, mate. You know.
Oh God, that's true. Yeah, you go
I have to have a thick skin. James says, evening, Colin Fox, all in chat. Hello, James. Not sure whether I said hello, but yeah. And Jasmine says, did Cole get those 500 sheets of PE? No, I didn't, mate. But this was something that was arranged about 6 months ago. That's how long I've been, and finally it's arrived because it was a pre-order. Cole got a big envelope of cash from eModels for having to put up with Fox every week. You wouldn't believe the sack of tenders I got, mate.
Hey, trust me,
huge big sack of wodge.
He has to get the big envelopes.
So anyway, what are you up to, mate? I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I'm back downstairs now. I had to have a couple of days upstairs because I went on a trip the weekend to Wales. Because the wife and my boy bought me tickets for the Speedway GP at Wales. So we all went up there. We travelled up, went to the thing and then stayed up overnight. But when I travel, it impacts me legs and stuff. So I have to wait 24 hours to travel back. And then when I've travelled back, I've then got to rest until my brain, legs and everything start working again. So I was in a H-imposed curfew. But we're at the bench today, so apologies for missing the tank Monday. My bad, but it'll be back the following week, okay?
Yeah, and it was worth it anyway.
It was worth it because, I got to, see loads of speedway bikes running around the Principality Stadium, and I might have been squeeing and shouting and effing and jeffing, and because why not? And I got my knee down a couple of times as well.
I was going to say, I bet you were getting your knee down even if you were stood up.
Well, dude, I was sticking my foot out as I was going round the corner as if I was doing the same old... But no, it was a good laugh, mate. Erwin says, I've had a horrible week. He ordered the Revell 1700 Bismarck from a web shop. 2 sprues are missing. First world problems, but crawled. Oh, mate, sorry to hear that, geez. Have a word with them. They'll probably ship you out the 2 sprues, mate.
Yeah. That's was Revell are good at that?
Yes, they are. So what are you up to anyway, mate? You're doing a bit more on your croaky box?
This evening I am carrying on with Lord Kroak. I put a shade of Agrax on his wraps last week, so I'm just doing another shade of that, and I'll start fettling with those. So lots more fettling with Lord Kroak this week for me.
Good man, and I'm still doing stuff on the Dio, folks. You'll notice that I've been round. Let's bring the webcam over. It'll be easier than trying to manipulate that. As you notice now, he says, come on. 8 bricks have been pointed now. So we've started doing a bit of that. Let's just try and bring it in. There you go, see. So we've been up and pointed all the bricks in at the front and above the arch there. Started that all the way along the top there of the slabs. Done all of them. The coping stones, they're done. So I did a bit of that. I've just got some more to do on the floor. Windows in its permanent position. Everything's fixed in place now. We started pointing all the brickwork there on the old frog and toad there. We're now going to be working in this area here, so I'm going to be putting more sand and detritus. Carrying on doing a bit of that, folks. So hopefully it won't be noisy. I will endeavour to be as quiet as I can, but obviously it's got to be done. So
it was quite quiet last time. It was quite a relaxing little squishy noise.
Yeah, I just don't obviously want to make my hooshy, scratchy noises all night because people don't want to hear it today. So let's try and move my camera into a jaunty angle so you can see what I'm doing.
Jaunty angle.
There you go. And all this is birdcage sand that I've got in a big pot. Natasha knows the stuff. And what I do is I sieve it. So where it comes with larger stones in it, I separate it out. So I have the larger stones in a bag and then I sieve it and end up with the very fine sand in a big pot that I can then use a small pot to scatter as I want to.
Yep.
in case you wonder how I do it.
Always a use for such things in modelling.
And all I do with this is I just scatter it along like so. And then I use my fingers just to do circular motions, just to rub it in. Probably do 6 or 7 rows at a time in a strip. And then I'll dust off what I don't need. And then put some ballast freeze on it. So that's literally them couple of rows done, see? So I'll just come over.
Quite relaxing doing that.
It is, mate. It's therapeutic. It really is, for me anyway.
A bit like me doing chipping.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it. Right.
And it just gives you the effect of mortar. Once the dirt and washes are down, it'll be sufficient, I think. I'm not worried about evenness because this is an old road. It's probably been touched up more than once. In its
I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere. You heard that little...
I thought I'd got away with that.
Get away with nothing.
I don't get away with now, do I?
No,
and then
it's like the outhouse rat.
As I'm going along, I'll just move all the sand off the bench into the lid, ready for the next rows. So that's what I'm going to be up to for the first part of the show. So apologies if it's boring, but
part of the process.
Part of the process, folks.
You get what you're given if you're watching somebody do something. Some of it's fun, some of it's not. But that's the joy of learning, of watching people do a creative thing.
Absolutely. What have we got there? PJ's in, says, evening, Colin Fox and everyone in chat.
Evening.
Sack of tenors, he says. Didn't know you liked opera. Oh, you meant tenor. Oops, my bad. There you go. Won't do that again.
I think you should. I think you should.
Al says it's the man of the moment, PJ. Oh, PJ Poos. LWM Bill says, I'm thinking of getting back onto the bench tomorrow. Been almost 2 weeks and I didn't anything because I couldn't stand without my blood pressure shooting up and making my head explode. Sorry about that, mate. Blind Dutchman says, what's the dio for, Festa? I knew someone would ask. I've been building up these trucks, milk trucks. The links, as I said at the beginning of the stream, the links for everything going on this are in the description, but I'll stop what I'm doing and show you because you've asked.
Asking has occurred.
Asking is good, so bear with me whilst I dig it out. I've got loads of figures, milkmen, butchers, all of them sort of people milling around. It's basically going to be a little market scene going on. You've got a staircase going up the way there to the meat store. That's going to have the geezer carrying his meat on it. And then you've got these trucks there. You've got the beer blokes going along here, rolling the barrels along the road, delivering the beer. You've got milkmen doing their thing. You've got, where are they? You've got the beer barrel blokes moving their barrels. They'll be fixed into position doing their things. So it's going to create a little Berlin 1940s market scene is what I'm up to. So there you go. And I've got loads of barrels and other bits to go in there. But I'm just doing all of the roads and that at the moment, mate.
Yeah. Barrels and muscles alive. No, wait, that's not right.
Hopefully that gives you an explanation of what I'm up to, buddy.
Oh,
What I'll do at the end of the show before, when we go off air, is I'll take a photo with some bits on the dio and post it up on the eModels page, and you'll see what I'm up to then, mate. But
yeah, because you get a better idea, can't you?
Absolutely. And this is made out of XPS foam that I've sat and carved everything into, mate. Each brick has been meticulously and lovingly carved with these very hands.
hand carved on the thighs of a Cuban
You
virgin.
need hands.
You need hands.
Do that again.
Go on, you should.
You need hands.
I know you do it again.
3 days, mate. If I could play the spoons, I'll bring them in.
Uncle Charlie. He taught you well.
That was me granddad.
Are you granddad?
Yeah.
And I said granddad Charlie, not Uncle Charlie.
Yeah, grandpops. No matter where
Charlie.
we were or whatever, he would just hear chink chinks like, he smuggled them in. Always had a set of spoons on it. Just one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know. He used to do the one-footed tap dance where he'd end up going around in a circle. Chink, 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 chink.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. He couldn't do the 2-footed one because he only had one leg.
Ah.
He just used to stand on that and spin round in a circle. Bless him.
Your family is a family full of characters.
Oh, mate. Well, we had Joan Hope. She was an opera singer. By Christ, could she sing, that woman.
Mm.
So whenever there was a shindig, she'd be blaring out. But she needed a couple of brandies to get going.
Yeah.
Just the one. That was it. She was on. She'd do her turn all night long then.
Just the one, Mrs. Wembley.
Yeah. So that was it. Everyone else could relax because once she got hold of a microphone, that was it. No one stood a chance.
Yeah. Even the DJ's like, right, I'm done.
Right until mid-80s, she'd be blurting out. And, yeah, bless her, she had a stroke and it damaged her voice so she could barely speak, let alone sing. Which was sad, really.
Yeah.
Had to take the one thing that she loved doing, you know. Such is life.
Indeed.
Did you have relatives like that had little traits?
No, you see, I was unlucky in a way that I was too little to remember my gran. I didn't know my mum's parents because they were gone before I was even born.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I didn't know my granddad because all my granddads died in the war, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so the only relative I ever had any physical contact with was my dad's mum, my grandma, who I didn't know. She was proper Scottish. She's the one that used to send us care packages every now and then.
Oh, right, yeah.
An enormous 3-foot square brown paper wrapped package of brown paper wrap in a string that contained all the poorly knitted things you can imagine, like sweaters with 5 sleeves, things like that.
Balaclavas with crooked eye holes.
Yeah, balaclavas with arms, all kinds of things. And yeah, she used to send those, but I was very young. And then I didn't see her for a long time, and then she died when I was in my teens. But I've never spoken to her, so.
Yeah, we
used to call her Squish Gran because she was Scottish, so we called her Squish Gran. She got Alzheimer's, unfortunately, or dementia. So,
yeah.
But other than that, no, there's no colourful characters in our family.
We had
Not really.
We had Grandad B, who was badly burnt in the war, and he was one of the guinea pig club where they had done all of this reconstructive surgery during the war.
Oh yeah.
Where they basically made tube grafts from shoulders and chests and things like
Yeah,
that.
because they were learning all that. Weren't
Yeah, they were learning all of that lot, and he kind of just volunteered and said, well, have at it. You know, not only may it help me, but it might help someone else. So, yeah, so bless him. But yeah, what a character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, my granddad's one was bomb aimer in Lancasters during the war.
Yeah.
And he was shot down over Bochum in Germany, so he's buried there.
Yeah.
And the other was, I think, he was a rifleman with the Highlanders, I think, but he was killed in Operation Market Garden.
Oh, right, yeah.
And there's a book, and I think it's called The Man Who Knew Too Much or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it's called now. That was written by somebody who survived all that. And it talks about all the people in his squad and stuff. And my granddad's mentioned in it. Oh no, it's my granddad's brother actually who's mentioned in it.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because he was shot by a sniper on one of the bridges. He's mentioned there.
Oh, wow.
No, there's nothing colourful. The only real claim to sort of any kind of colourfulness really is what my granddad did in the Lancasters.
Yeah.
Because he was part of a super secret squadron that flew what were called ABCs, or airborne cigars.
Oh, right, yeah.
And they were basically Lancasters that were packed full of the absolute latest cutting edge technology.
Yeah.
To jam and intercept German radio traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
And what they used to do was every crew would have a native German speaker.
Yes.
On board. In this case, it was a German Jew. I can't remember his name. Who'd escaped from Germany and was quite happy to, fight the Germans. And what they would do was they would basically cut off all the German air traffic, radio traffic.
Yeah.
And replace it. They'd jump in and be the voice of like German air traffic control.
Okay, yeah.
So they would then misdirect all the fighter planes and stuff different places, and the fighter planes, of course, wouldn't know because they're just getting communications from, controls and bases saying, "Yeah, go to this place." So they could basically direct all the traffic away from areas where they're doing bombing raids and stuff. Yeah. But the downside was because of all this radio equipment, the reason they're called airborne cigars is because they were lit up with all this equipment, the heat and the radio frequencies and stuff, so you could kind of easily see them with the right optics.
Oh, wow.
But it was also kind of unique because he was one of the very few crews that had a black air crew member.
All right, yeah.
Now, my brother did loads of research and he managed to get all the names of all the crew and contact all the families and stuff. So he's actually spoken to all these people. And I can't remember. I think he was from... Was he from Guyana or somewhere, or the Caribbean? I can't remember where he's from, but he was in the crew. He was a navigator, I think.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. Because at that time in the RAF, if there were any, black service members, they were always like ground crew or something like that. They were never... very rarely actual flight crew. So.
Shame to think that was still a thing, But
yeah,
unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, the RAF was merely for it was kind of an old boys' network anyway, wasn't it? A lot of
old school side, wasn't it?
Yeah, so people of working class would struggle to have been involved. But yeah, so it was part of that, and it was some of the technology they used. Was still actually classified when my brother was looking into it sort of 5 or 10 years ago.
Well, yeah.
It was that cutting edge.
Yeah. 70-year rule in it or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of it won't ever be released, will it?
Nope. And some of it was actually still in use in modern day civilian air traffic control. It was that ahead of its time.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So it was amazing. But no colourful characters there.
PJ's got a bench, belly, corned beef, ash, bench on back on the scratch-built 250 USS Defiant from DS9, and beverages of V&T large, good man. LD is in, he says, no building tonight. Tonight I'm checking to see if I need anything for my next build. I'm making a list of spendings, good man. Ooh. Flying Dutchman says, nice stuff, lots of things happening there. Yeah, it is, mate. I'm going back to... doing stuff like this because I just enjoy it, and it's something I did a while back using Das Clay and balsa woods and things like that. I just want to get back into doing little vignettes and stuff. So there you go. Bill says, do you learn on teaspoons and work your way up the serving spoons? I could do. Don't try plastic spoons though, because not that good. Andy's in from Quinn Star Scale Models saying hello. Hello, Andy.
Andy.
Bill says, me nan was WAF and reported the first V2 over London. Ooh, good fact to him. Scale Modelling Chaos, a.k.a. Jasmine, says, we found out recently that my parental grandfather was officially in the engineers, but unofficially he was helping to locate and capture German spies who were operating in the UK. Ooh. Jasmine says, wow, and PJ says, hi to Sophie and Erwin. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, we had quite a lot of extended family that did their thing in the war and stuff like that. you know, from then on, family did their national service and stuff like that. Some stayed in after their national service. So,
I mean, that kind of generation, you're going to be hard pressed to find someone who didn't serve in the military in some way.
Exactly.
Because that was the state of mind at the time. Was you fought for king and country, and that was it.
Country, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't a question of I don't want to; it was a question of I have to.
Conscientious objectors wasn't a thing, was it?
Well, they were, but they were very, very rare. Like you very rarely find anybody, because it's the mindset was, well, no, we need to deal with this because it's the world's at stake.
Wouldn't find them because they'd be locked up in the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't get that nowadays.
No. It is one of them, innit? You know, it's...
These kids today, I'm nearly old enough to be able to make that rant, but I'm not going to.
Well, you think, I mean, when we was born, rationing hadn't long been finished, really, had it?
Yeah.
Only a decade before we was born.
Yeah.
You know, and parts of London and Manchester were still being reborn when we was kids. Rebuilt, should I say.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was still a lot of unexploded ordnance, still a lot of buildings that were being rendered safe. And, yeah.
It always amazes me now when you get stories of like unexploded ordnance. There was one recently in Cologne, I think it was.
Yeah.
But a couple of years ago where they found a bomb that had landed in the riverbed and hadn't gone off, a British bomb, and it was like they had to evacuate everything. And it's like you think about these bombs they found, these ordnance and stuff, and you think at some point in time there was an airman who pressed a button.
Yes.
To release a bomb of some sort. He pressed a button. And that person may still have, survived the war and lived on for many, many decades. But at no point in time did that person ever think, this bomb will take 80 years to explode.
Yeah.
Because it just blows your mind. You think, if you think about it that way, it's like that bomb took longer than that person survived, even if they survived after the war, to go off.
Oh,
mind-bending. And you just don't know how many are out there. There could be loads left all over the place.
Well, you think about it, it's like landmines and things like that, you know. I mean, in the Thames estuary and places, you still got vessels that had sunk that are literally full up with ordnance.
Yeah.
That, is, the metal now of the ships is decaying, and the bombs and munitions on board are dangerous, and they're all carrying, you think how many freighters that were carrying oil and other potentially contaminating chemicals that are now at that point where they're corroded that badly. There are some where it's already leaking out, and it's an environmental problem waiting to happen, isn't it? It's like the Norwegian fjords. They've got a lot of ships that are sunk there full up with diesel and other dodgy contaminants and stuff. It's quite scary,
widespread.
really. Yeah.
I mean, not forgetting, of course, there's at least one or two nuclear subs that have sunk.
Yes.
And I don't think you got things like the Kursk and other ones, but they've not always been able to recover all the warheads. So
no, they're under there, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's ones that went missing. But I read a story. It was like earlier last year about somebody who was having their garden done, and there was a World War II bomb in their garden, and it was still fully live. And it's like they'd spent 50 years living in this house, not even aware that there was a World War II bomb 20 feet from their house. And it was a big one. It was one of the big ones as well, not a little farty one. It was one of the big, massive.
Yeah.
I don't know what the big ones were, but V2 level bomb type thing. And it's like, wow.
Oh, yeah, it just goes to show you, though, doesn't it? It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is why one day I'm determined to dig up my garden and see if there is anything Roman down there or something.
Well, we got the remains of an old Anderson shelter in one corner.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Of the garden. It's like you can see where the rockery is.
Yeah.
You can see one wall and the foundation that are still there, and it's we was going to take it apart, but then you sort of think, well, just leave it. It's not doing any harm.
It's a little bit of history, a little bit of legacy history
there, isn't it? And dare I say it, hopefully the next tenant, feels the same. It's, it's.
I wouldn't get rid of it. I'd be keeping it.
Oh, that's right. It's.
You might get time team in your garden one day.
Yeah, but it often makes you wonder whether there's. Well, perhaps it's good not knowing, isn't it? And anything unexploded under there, you don't want to dig it up there. But
no,
I think the likelihood here would be quite remote. But then it was on the dumping corridor, so
yeah,
go carry on.
Yeah, you mean like they're dumping all their unexploded, all their ordnance?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I looked up a map of like known locations of bomb drops in World War II just to see if there's any around me. And there's only a few around here. One actually not very far away at all. Like just down the road, a few streets.
You used to get it in London, didn't you? Whenever they was starting a new project, they would always get the clearing and down to where they needed to put the piles in, and then they would get people in to look because obviously you had plague cemeteries and all kinds of history under there, but also potentially a lot of unexploded ordnance.
Well, a lot of archaeologists' bread and butter work now is development sites and stuff where they're going to build, and they have to. I think by law now they have to have an archaeological survey done.
Anywhere. Normally it's left for a month or sometimes up to 6 months, isn't it, to let them do their thing, especially around the Thames river edges, because obviously the river's got narrower and narrower over the years, but obviously you've got shipwrecks, Roman ruins, Tudor stuff, and the history under there. I'd love to go under there. Tim Grundy did a program years ago.
There's a name I've not heard for a long time.
Called Two's Country, probably because he's dead, mate. But he went underground in London into the disused underground networks, but also under some of the buildings in London, like the post office tower that didn't exist until whenever. But they've got areas where they preserved what was found behind glass, some of the archaeological digs and places of interest under there. And I find that fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Secret London Underground is a good programme to watch with Sidney Holloway. And she's got the keys. And normally at the end of all the tube platforms, you see that wall, don't you, with all the tiles and the little machine on it. Well, a lot of them walls, there's actually a keyhole there and you can open it and the whole wall moves so that you can go in behind it, and there's disused rail tram tube stations and stuff. National Archives use a lot of it now for storing sensitive documents and things.
Yeah, because they're kind of climate stable, aren't they?
A few of the internet providers use them as data centres. And it's really interesting. I would love to meet up with someone like her, just to go underground for a good few days, just have a good old look.
I'd love that.
If you get a chance, go down to Cabinet War Rooms, anyone that's visiting London, and go and have a look under there. It is interesting.
I love people that, like, they just go and do urban exploring. So they find, like, an old abandoned house, like a big old house. It's often in the States, but here as well.
Yeah.
That's, like, decrepit. And they'll go in and they'll explore, and it's like, just, especially when they've been abandoned and they've got signs of life from, like, 50 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching one, and he went into this abandoned house that was all overgrown somewhere in the States, and they found in the basement this enormous train set layout.
Oh, right, yeah.
That had obviously been abandoned for like 30 or 40 years, and this thing was massive, and there were like hundreds of just like trains and carriages and stuff. And he said, and the urban explorer, he's I can't remember his name, but he's fairly honest. He doesn't take anything.
Yeah,
never takes anything. He said, but some of these trains, he said, some of these little carriage units, they're worth like $150, $200 because they're rare and vintage. So, and he tried chasing them. Yeah.
When I was in Edinburgh, I went down Mary Kelly's Close, which as you walk up Princes Street and the Royal Mile. as you get near towards the castle end, there's a little alleyway and you can go underground, and Mary Kelly's Close is under there. Basically what it is you go underneath the catacombs, and there's complete streets and houses and everything that they just built over.
Yeah.
But it's all preserved under there, and it's fascinating to see all these streets that human eyes haven't seen, you know, unless obviously they're visiting, of course, but the layman doesn't see and probably doesn't realise is under there. And
yeah, because sometimes it was just cheap to build over it, wasn't it?
Well, it was, because they wanted to level the ground as you went up to the castle, so it was easier just bricking over the buildings, and that's what they did. And it's intriguing how, especially with the weight of buses and things like that, how it don't all collapse in on itself. But it survived.
Some of it's good Victorian engineering, which will last forever.
It is, and I find that intriguing because, like you say, in the modern world, you know, there's things we're trying to build, and even now we're struggling with, and yet there they were. Yeah, just build over that.
Yeah. Well, I heard recently, it was about a year ago, I heard a report that some company had finally been able to figure out how the Romans made their concrete.
Really?
Because their concrete is vastly superior to our concrete.
Yeah.
Because it was self-healing and ours isn't.
Yeah.
It also didn't need, like, you know, reinforcing with metal bars.
Didn't get concrete cancer like modern concretes do they?
No, and it didn't get corrosion from steel and rebar and stuff. And yeah, it's taken, 2,000 years for us to figure that out. It was all to do with the way they use lye and lime and stuff. But yeah, no, I love things like that. Urban, it's called Urbex, urban exploration. Urbex, it's like great stuff.
It's amazing what's out there, folks. It really is.
I mean, that explains why I like games like Fallout, because that's like urban exploration. It's all abandoned, old, decrepit buildings from 200 years after the nuclear war.
Do you watch a program called Abandoned Engineering?
No, I've not heard of that. What's that?
It's on the Discovery channels. Basically, it's abandoned engineering. It can be anything from machinery to buildings to mines.
Yeah.
You know, be it gold mines, coal mines, buildings that were built during the Second World War. And it just gives you all, and there's a lot of underground stuff there. And it's all over the world, basically. You go on this program and you've got the expert people in their different fields all going over what the purposes of these buildings were and how it's possible that they've survived and how they were built. Mate, honestly, it's brilliant. I love it.
It does sound good, especially if you imagine a lot of like Industrial Revolution, sort of British stuff.
Yeah, you get a lot of Eastern European stuff, obviously pre-Berlin Wall and Cold War. And of course, we didn't know about any of this stuff because we didn't see it until the wall came down.
Yeah.
Now they're going round and finding all of these buildings and bringing it, to the Western audience, and I find that fascinating.
There is something about sort of abandoned structures and buildings that is just absolutely mesmerising, because especially if you're the first person to see it in decades or even longer, it's just like, because I'm kind of weird, and you might have figured that out, but I'm kind of weird that if you give me a photo, if I look at a picture like a photograph, let's say it could just be like a picture of, from the 1970s or whenever it is.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and I'll find myself getting lost in it because I'll look at like the colour of the light, or the thing, and or I watch video from the 70s or even before, and I find myself just in my mind imagining like what it felt like to stand there in that particular level of sun, and you can imagine the breeze and the sound.
Exactly. All the noises that were around at the time.
Yeah, and maybe it's because I'm on the spectrum a little bit, I guess, but I just find myself, I could stare at a photograph for like an hour, just devolving into the experiences people in that photograph were having. Yeah,
you're on there a bit. But...
Yeah, so it's weird. I can just so when I sit there and I find myself up 5 a.m. and I've been watching like, British Pathé movies for the last 4 hours. But black and white doesn't work. Black and white doesn't work for me at all, but colour, absolutely.
Yeah, Mr. Chummy Warner.
When I can see the colour of the daylight, it makes a big difference. Just transports me to wherever it is.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Yeah. So to walk into a place and see all these like abandoned things, it's like you could just imagine being there.
I love it. I really do, because it takes you to places that you perhaps really wouldn't get a chance to see, you know. And
yeah. Talking of which as well, I think it's Edinburgh Castle actually. There is, because you said about conscientious objectors earlier. You've just reminded me of, I think it was Edinburgh Castle where a lot of conscientious objectors were imprisoned. They put them in jail, basically. And then they were sent to Edinburgh Castle, and despite them not wanting to take part in the war, they were forced to be like, do things like be nurses or medical or anything like that, non-combat roles in the army in the First World War. I think it was Edinburgh Castle. And there's still rooms in the castle where they've like drawn things on the wall in pencil and stuff.
Yeah.
Given their details, and that's quite moving, because these are people who didn't want to go to war. They deliberately didn't want to do it, and yet they were forced to.
Little messages and opinions.
Yeah, that's amazing. Seeing evidence of people.
Yeah, it's in the catacombs at Edinburgh.
Yeah. So they temporarily imprisoned them.
Yeah, you've got the towards the castle end. You've got like basically they look like dungeons.
Yeah,
and it's where people like that and crims were sort of sent, and they had to stay underground for a period of time and fend for themselves and all of that lot. But yeah, that's when they was last used actually for that type of thing.
Yeah, but that's just another one of them sort of big World War I scandals, wasn't it? Like
yes,
like the fact these people didn't want to go to war, and yet they were in the end they were forced to against their will. Different times those were.
Was different times, mate. People. That's what it was like back then, wasn't it?
It's like all the people that were executed for cowardice, and it's like you look at them now and you think a lot of these people probably had like PTSD and were suffering as mental conditions because of what they'd gone through. And nowadays, it's like
been suffering from delayed shelter, all kinds of kinds of things. It's
very brutal.
I mean, you've only got to look at Turing, haven't you? How he was treated.
Yep.
And it's disgraceful, really, when you think about it. But
was there ever an apology done for? Because I know for a long time there's a campaign to like pardon Turing.
I do believe he got pardoned and apologied. I do believe. I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be right. So I did.
I think you're right. I think he got it in the end. They did it.
I don't think it was that long ago that it all happened, which is the shameful part of it, really, that it took so long.
Yeah. When was it? Late 50s, early 60s, I think.
Yeah.
Right, it's a little bit of dry brushing on his wraps. I'm rapping. I
think it might have been more recent than that he finally got his pardon. Could have been. It's quite sad when you think about it, that, what do you do? That was the law at the time. Right, let's bring that back in. I've got to stand up for a second. Been good, PJ. I've been good.
Let's have a quick look at chat while you're doing that. PJ says, right now my bench looks like a bomb has gone off. Staying topical, folks.
See what he did there, Paige.
My nan was a nurse during the Battle of Britain, and 2 of her brothers were plane spotters.
Oh, wow.
Bill says, you don't want an exploding bomb on your piles. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
My dad played on bomb sites in East Ham, and he was born in 1947. Bill says, my dad was given the choice by a magistrate of join the army or do 6 months in the nick, and he ended up serving 22 years in the army. He is now a Chelsea pensioner. Flying Dutchman says, I'm out of here. Happy bench time, folks. See you next time.
Ta-la, mate. Thanks for coming in.
And Erwin says, till next time, Flying Dutchman, tot de volgende keer. Volgende keer. Skull Modeling Chaos says they're looking to try and remove the munitions off the SS Montgomery, but it's thousands of tons and very unstable. Yeah, if it's like an armory full of like torpedoes or bombs or anything like that, there's not really much they can do, because they just by trying to get them out, they could set them all off. It's like they're probably more like we'd rather just leave them.
That's probably why they can't do the one in the estuary, because they say that the tsunami or whatever that would be created would cause so much damage along the estuary to property and stuff that it's...
Yep.
They just got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of just have to hope that over time that the mechanisms and all the armaments just corrode enough that they're no longer live.
Jasmine says, yeah, he was pardoned and an apology given. He's now on the £50 note. Yeah, I know he's on the back of the 50 because there was a little bit of controversy still about putting him on there. And it's like, oh, come on, people. Really?
Really? You know, It's like... He's on the £50 note because he invented the computer that helped us break the Enigma device, and also he was a mathematical genius. That's the reason. Have
you ever watched the film that Benedict Cumberbatch did?
Yes. Was it Beautiful Mind? No.
Yeah.
What was it called? Yeah.
It's got that. Imitation Game, wasn't it?
Oh, that's the one. Imitation Game. Yes. It's
absolutely nailed that film.
Oh, yeah.
It was quite moving, really, isn't it? When you think of the struggle that folks went through. Oh yeah, not punch.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's very easy to sit here in the 21st century and say, oh, they were wrong and it was terrible. It's like, but at the end of the day, it was a whole different culture, and it's easy for us to judge with 21st century eyes when
law was different back then.
Yeah, and people's opinions and morals were different back then.
Whether it's right or wrong, it was the law of the land at the time.
Yeah, and there's no way around that.
There's all manner of things in history that are wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those things you can't really judge based on opinions of that time. You can only judge based on what people now are doing about to rectify the things that were wrong at the time.
Yeah, I've people learnt from it. Hopefully they have. But
yeah,
we're getting into the political realm there, so let's move away from that.
Yes. What are we up to?
You got to Bill's dad was a Chelsea pensioner.
Yeah. Liverpool has the Wester Approaches Command Museum. Says the Bobbins.
Oh, right,
yeah. Penny's Pit Stop's in. Says, evening, guys. Hey, Penny's Pit Stop.
Hello, Penny. How are you? Lovely to see
you. Ron is working on his bench. Says he's got a 24 scale KFZ 305 Opel Blitz truck.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Why have I got the blankety blank music on? Opel Blitz, boom, boom, boom.
I'm suddenly trying to remember what KFZ stands for. Kraftwagen Fahrzeug. That's it.
Yeah, that I know.
Fahrzeug. Only when I've had a big dinner.
I see what you did there.
We're here all week trying to fish. Now I'm being a bit lazy with these wraps in that I'm not edge highlighting every single wrap.
Why not?
I'm actually using dry brushing.
Why not?
Because
I want to know why you're cheating.
Because
I'm bringing Duncan.
Because I want the wraps to look old and worn. And if you look at like old linen or cloth that's all gone brown stained and stuff, look at old mummies, it's not these nice crisp edges. It's all rough and textured. It's like, your nan's old net curtain that's been on for too long and it's gone brown around the edges. It's like, I want it to have that kind of rough material look. And by putting all these nice little neat edges, it just looks like very light colour leather if I do that, I think. So at least with dry brushing, I can start making light patches and dark patches and give it a kind of speckly look. That's my thinking on it anyway.
You're a speckly look.
Thank you very much, whether it'll work, I don't know. I've given it some shabby bone. Let's give it some screaming skull. Yeah, I mean, I suppose if it was like a ship sunk out at sea, they'd quite happily just go in and just detonate it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. But anything like a river estuary or something like that, especially around London, yeah. They're just going to leave that alone. They're going to be like, no.
It's on all the nautical maps where they are and that, but it's just too risky blowing it all up, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
well, it's kind of logical. It's like you've got a choice. You can either leave it and it might blow up, but it might not. Or you can fiddle with it and probably it will blow up.
Sooner or later, they're going to have to act on it because, Yeah.
You
can't keep leaving everything for the next generation, It's like, we know it's there. Just get rid of it.
Maybe they'll just encase it in something. I don't know. Well, that would probably work, but...
Yeah, it's a bit like the Chernobyl, isn't it, with the sarcophagus, every 100 years they got to rebuild it. That's like, well, kill the issue then. Get rid.
Did you ever watch the documentary, I think it was on BBC iPlayer, where they showed the building of the current modern sarcophagus? And it was like right from the start of the project, they filmed it and they made it to like a big hour long. That was amazing. It was such a feat of engineering.
It's an amazing technical feat when you consider what the damage is in there.
Oh, yeah.
It is quite alarming. The TV series, folks, as well, with Jared Harris. If you haven't watched it, don't give it a watch. Honestly, it is so well made, and it just lets you see the ridiculousness of the authoritarian rulers that were around at the time.
Yeah, the stupid sort of way they ran things.
It was overfilled with bureaucracy, is all we'll say.
Yeah.
And it's that made it so pathetic, but it was very cleverly made, and the way they dealt with what is still quite a delicate subject in it, let's be honest.
Yeah. What's amazing for that area, though, is the way it's bounced back with nature. It's like a absolutely
Mother Nature.
Amazing nature reserve.
Yeah, Mother Nature always reclaims everything.
The fact that you can now go to Pripyat on a tour, not stay there for very long, but you can go there and you can go there and have a look around and stuff. Nature will always find a way. I watched a little video of it was again on iPlayer, and they're looking at how nature's taken over. Yeah, because it's a perfect place for people to actually sit and watch and study how nature reclaims human territory.
Oh yeah,
it's not often they get a chance, so they've spent the last 25, 30 years studying it, and it's amazing looking at the way nature's just come back and in just 30 years. Fascinating.
That's fascinating.
Cue Vulcan eyebrow, fascinating. I've been working on my skink. Giving him a little coat of blue. Do.
Right.
Colia green shade, that's what he needs.
Okay. So we have...
That's built-up green.
Where did I put the rest of them beans? Yeah, I got lines.
Right, I shall step away for 1 minute.
Yeah, no worries, you do that. I'll stop what I was about to do then. Right. I can't remember what was read. Penny says, I'm great, just back from a 2-day run to London and back, so happy to be back in the groove. She's got 2 days off, then I have 6 straight days of London, back and overnights. Oh, no. Owen's laughing out late. Bill says, nature always finds a way, Dr. Ian Malcolm. There was another set of programs which were on Discovery. It was, I think, Life After People that had 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, etc. And it was almost like CGI of how Mother Nature would reclaim famous cities, famous landmarks and stuff like that. Really is quite interesting how nature always wins over. No matter what man has built, to move things around and change things. Mother Nature, she always gets her way and gets back what is hers. Very interesting set of programs they were. Alright, we'll go hunting for that in a minute when his lordship returns. Penny says, I love nights. It's just you and the roadworks on the M1. I did nights for 15 years, Penny, and it was just a different world at night. You know, certainly getting about was a lot easier. But, yeah, I just enjoyed it. And Mrs. wasn't a fan of it because obviously she didn't like being home alone at night without us being there. But, yeah, it was one of them. You know, the money was good, and that was what it was about when you're raising 2 young kids at the time. So you go where the money is. What else is going on there? Anyone having props with some Tamiya gloss paints? I have found colours not going on even end up looking splotchy. Yes, I had some issues with sparkling silver, gunmetal, both ordinary Tamiya and lacquers, where the separation of paint, no matter how much you shook it, mixed it or whatever, it would still streak as you applied. So I just binned every single pot, mate, because it was a pointless exercise, mate. Yeah, it's so annoying. Like you say, you pay your money for your paint and it turns out to be bish. So it's kind of why I moved to other suppliers of paint now, or brands of paint, because I got fed up with issues with the stuff. Jasmine says, if you like history, there's a YouTuber called The Fat Electrician who does some great videos. I watched 2 last night. One was about the Mosquito and the other one was about a tank. Genius. I'll have a look into them, mate. LD says, that's exactly the problem I had with purple and yellow. Yeah, mate. Yeah, I mean, I junked at least half a dozen pots in the last week alone of Tamiya. Because, yeah, I don't know what it is they've done to their mixing, but even their LPs are fish now.
After me, have been changing things again.
I presume so, because it's certainly not. It's certainly not storage or capability of painting. So
no, because normally Tamiya paints last forever.
Yeah, I know there's a saying about workmen and tools, but when you've been painting for 30 years, you kind of know a duff pot when you see one.
Yeah. No, I had Tamiya paints that I'd had for 25, 30 years and they were still perfect. So they must have changed something.
Yeah. And it is fresh batches that were bought to replace depleted paint. So, was I happy? Not really. But what can you do? So it's not just me, it's other people who are having the same problem. It's apparently a big thing there.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. That's why I rarely use their product now.
It does make you wonder when a company's got a perfect product that works perfectly for the thing it's designed for, why they feel compelled to change them at some point later down. I was like, it was working brilliantly for 20, 30 years. Why did you change it?
They call it improvements, but it's skinflinting on ingredients to save money. But they charge you more. It's like, how's that work?
Yeah, well, it works well for them. No.
Oh.
Not for the user.
For the short term, yeah, but for the long term, they're going to lose a lot of customers.
Yeah.
I certainly have moved away from their range and won't be buying it again.
No.
Because I can't trust it.
No. Because it's like, you get products that are new and after a few years they change. It's like, well, that's fine because you're improving your product. But when it's been working for 30 years, 40 years, no, that doesn't need improving. It's worked well for a generation of modelers.
Take the earphones off and mute, mate, because I'm hunting for something and I can't stretch. No
problem. No problem. I shall have a quick look at chat in a second. Yeah, it's very frustrating when that happens. It's all business, isn't it? Right, I'm just giving this skink a coat of Golia green shade. I have to repaint that gold bit that I've gone over, but that's not a problem. I'm not really quite sure how to paint this skink, but we'll figure something out. We will come to a solution, do not worry. They're kind of bluey green. I think you might need more than one coat though. Especially on the scales on his back. I don't know if you can see them. Scales on his back, they'll need to be darkened down quite significantly in my mind. Because I can't remember what skinks actually look like, so I shall make it up. Plus I've got to paint all his clothing and stuff, all his accoutrements. This is the only problem I've got with characters where they're mostly bare skin and then like straps or belts or jewellery or whatever, is you've got to paint the skin and you've got to get all the texture and highlights and everything else on the skin. And your temptation is to paint all the base colours, so like do the skin and the leather straps and everything else, but then you want different coloured shades for different things, like the blue-green shade for his skin and the other shades for his straps and other things. So you think, well, I'll do all the skin in one go, get it all shaded and dry brushed or whatever, and then I can do all the straps. But if you then mess the straps up when you paint them, because you've now got a skin colour that's not just a flat colour, it's like, oh, it's tricksy, I tell you. Let's see what chat's doing. Now, I don't know what Festa's read out, so I'll probably end up duplicating. Yes, Fox, it is that, says Ron. Cool. Brown nicotine stained neck curtains, definitely my nan, says Eldit. Yeah, my mum as well back in the day. Nature always finds a way, Dr. Ian Malcolm, yes. I do love night, says Penny. It's Penny's pit stop. It's just you and the roadworks on the M1. Earl D says he has a respirator and some G Studio paints on order. And Jasmine says their paints are hit and miss, but their kits are great. Sophie says that's just put me off Tamiya. See, I used to always paint with Tamiya, and I said this in the chat the other day to Sophie. I always used to paint with Tamiya when I was younger. 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And for 30 years, I thought I couldn't brush paint because I couldn't brush paint. And then in the mid-2010s, I discovered acrylic paints, because when I was growing up and doing modelling, you know, acrylic water-based paints didn't really exist. It was all Tamiya paints and Humbrels. And then I discovered, I'd stopped modelling for a while and discovered a water-based acrylic paints. I got some Citadel paints and some Vallejo paints, and suddenly I realised I could actually paint a bit. I wasn't completely useless, and it's like, it was the Tamiya paint's not great for brushing. Airbrushing, perfect, because they're more durable than Citadel and Vallejo and everything else. And I was saying this to Festa the other day, is that if I've got, say, a vehicle and I want to paint it red with a white stripe or whatever, I'm probably going to use Tamiya paints for the red, because I can't trust normal regular acrylics for masking, not pulling the paint off. So, yes. They do have their uses, but I won't try and brush paint with them.
You're on about your WASBOM again, aren't you?
No, just, what was it? I was actually, for some reason, when I started saying red and white, the first thing I thought of was your Hillman Imp. Anybody who doesn't know what that is, ask Festa, he'll tell you.
When I was an apprentice, my first car was an Hillman Imp 1300 GT. And I brush painted it red with a Starsky and Hutch stripe down the side, because I thought it would look good.
I just found it amusing that a Hillman Imp could be a GT. It's like,
yeah, 1300 GT. Don't diss the Imp.
Oh no, we had a Hillman Imp for years. We had 2 Hillman Imps. My dad had 2 Hillman Imps. I grew up in a Hillman Imp, not literally, obviously. That would be weird.
Yes, I can remember H. She's like, yeah, can you not pick me up straight out of work, love? Could you meet me down the road next turning? I was like, you don't like my car, do you? She said, I hate your car. So that was it. I then got a Mini Cooper.
Such harsh words. I hate your car.
Yeah. At the end of the day, at least she was honest.
Yep.
So I got rid and got the Mini Cooper, and then that was it. Then she wanted a Mini, and the rest is history, so to speak.
Yeah.
Driving around London was like the Italian job with us too, but...
Right, what brushes of godhand brushes have I got for dry brush?
I knew I had the stairs and spares, but yeah, I kind of buried them, and it was like, really? Right.
Won't do that again in a hurry.
Well, I had thought that I was done with what I needed to use, but I'd forgot about my brace beams that I need. Because obviously I built a double landing. So I need my diagonal brace beams to come from the landing down yonder. So I don't know whether to go. I'll probably go for 2. Be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Don't want it falling off the building, do we? No.
No. Health and safety.
Because, you know, if it breaks, it's going to cost. Ooh.
Yeah, it's not going to, yeah.
How much is it going to be?
We're going to need the extension and the step ladder, so.
Yeah, going to be, sheer it. I would like to say.
Oh, you want the step ladder? Ooh.
Yeah, like all the coins in the world.
Because it will do the work if you have lots of coin.
So we need now then to figure out how we're going to attach this.
Bill says, is anyone else not able to stop doing Bane impressions anytime they put the respirator on? No, we all do it.
We all do it. That or Darth Vader, would he?
Yeah.
Oh, Master Luke.
When Gotham burns. Oh, yeah.
Thing is, Fox isn't telling you he's got the coat as well.
No. I have no admiration for those Batman films at all.
Bane is your favourite character. That's what you always say.
Bane is not my favourite character. Especially not in that film where you can't tell the word he damn well says, and that's after they fixed it to be more understandable. Gah. Makes you laugh when you have a character you can't tell what he's saying, and the other main character you also can't tell what he's saying. It's like, what? Oh God!
That's a bit like watching a Jonathan Ross show, then, isn't it? Flumdy flum 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 flum.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Yeah,
because that's the case of style over. So plus the mouth hole on Batman's cape on Cowl was all wrong, and I didn't like it. So I don't like those Batman films. They're all just bad. Michael Keaton, sorted.
You are so stuck in your ways, it's unbelievable.
I am.
So what you're saying is everyone needs to not have their own opinion. They can only like the film that you liked. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying my opinion. I didn't. People can like what they like. Yeah. I just think they're terrible films.
I still think it's a chassis.
You can shut up. Now, here's the thing, right?
Go for it.
Apparently the Borderlands movie, which has been universally panned by everybody, has done so poorly at the theatres that it's going to be streaming by the end of this month.
Yeah.
Because normally it's like 6 months, isn't it? Or 8 months or something.
Yes.
And I kind of said, I'm not going to watch it because I love Borderlands, but I don't want to watch terrible. And then I thought, hang on, I need to see if it's worse than Battlefield Earth.
The thing is, we're going to have to watch it just to see how bad it is.
Yeah. I need to compare it to Battlefield Earth as somebody who has watched Battlefield Earth.
I mean, Battlefield
purely for scientific
Earth,
purposes.
Ishtar, they're films that were universally panned, aren't they?
Ooh. No, I've not actually seen it. Is that one with
Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty, wasn't it? That was.
Yeah, I've never actually watched Ishtar.
Voted the worst film ever made.
Yeah. And then they made Battlefield
Earth. And now I don't know what the comparison is, which is worse out of them both, because I've not seen them included in the same categories.
Right. See, I've only seen Battlefield. I've not seen Ishtar.
I can imagine Battlefield Earth would win with modern film.
Yeah.
I got about 10 minutes in and lost the will to live.
Yeah. I mean, the downside with Battlefield Earth is you have to put all the Scientology rubbish out of the back of your mind, because that's going to be there and colour you, prejudice your opinion. You have to put that out of your mind.
Exactly.
And just approach it as just, I've lost my kitchen roll.
Lost your tit.
I've lost my kitchen roll. I kind of, that went wrong.
It didn't it?
So you have to put that out of your mind. And just think of it as a movie. Which is very hard to do, really, when you're a natural-born skeptic and scientific critical thinker.
What he's saying is, if you're a fox, don't watch it.
No, I actually... Battlefield Earth is so bad, I think everybody should watch it, just to understand. Because you can't judge a bad film until you've seen possibly the worst film ever made. And it's one of those films that's so bad, you have to watch it.
Proper minging, is it?
It's just terrible in every possible way. Absolutely. And the sad thing is you can see there's a thread of an interesting story in there, and a thread of, but it's just like, no.
Makes you wonder how they ever got it past production then, if it was going to be that, is it someone that had such a, how can we say, an outstanding debt to Mr. Travolta, where they just let him make this monstrosity, or was it his own studio?
It's the unending wallet of Scientology.
Oh, right.
Paying everybody who needs to be paid off to make it regardless. Thank you very much.
Right, okay.
Don't forget Travolta's in all that, isn't he? So.
Yes, I know.
Yes, so, yeah. There was a seed of a good idea in there, but it just went a bit wrong. And at the end of the day, as we've said before, actors will take money for any role. They don't care if it's a good film or a bad film. They're getting paid to do a job. They're fine, thank you.
Isn't Tom Cruise Scientologist as well?
Oh yes, he's the big famous name.
Yeah, I thought there was more than one of them.
Oh yeah, there's loads, but Tom Cruise and Thingy are the two best known. Ugh.
Madonna is as well, wasn't she? What is that?
No, she's a Kabbalah. I think she's into Kabbalah,
Kabbalah,
which is something else.
Right, yeah, okay.
I think she's Kabbalah, but I'm not really, I can't quite remember what Kabbalah actually is.
Scientology on steroids, probably.
Ugh.
Weird, isn't it, how these multi-millionaires find these off-piste religions? Is that the best way of describing them? Again, we're on religion. Let's move back.
Well, no, I wouldn't even use it. I'm very tempted to say very many things, but I don't want eModels to get sued, so I shall say nothing.
Yeah,
I shall remain quiet.
We've gone off tangent, so apologies, folks.
Yeah.
Let's find something else to talk about.
Yes. Right. What's chat doing? Even better news, Fox, is The Acolyte has been cancelled, says PJ. I watched the first few episodes. It was all right, but I only watched the first few episodes, and it didn't grab me. I didn't think it was bad, it just kind of didn't grab me. So,
what's The Acolyte?
It's another Star Wars sort of spin-off series on Disney+.
God, haven't they done that to death now, Star Wars?
It's their franchise. They're going to do everything with it. It's set 1,000 years before Star Wars, but in the old Republic, which is quite ripe for storytelling, let's be honest. But it didn't really grab me. It didn't seem bad. It just seemed not very interesting. I only got a couple of issues in.
See it now. Star Wars versus Star Trek versus Doctor Who.
Nonsense. Always Star Trek.
Yeah. Don't know. I think that's a franchise now that's absolutely been done to bits.
Yeah.
Shame.
LD says, I put lacquer and Tamiya through the airbrush and hand paint with AK Interactive Acrylic and Games Workshop Vallejo and Army Painter.
Nice one.
Yeah. You can spray with water-based acrylics. They're just not very durable. If you're doing any kind of masking, you're taking your life in your hands with acrylics.
No comment, dear, because I know the wibble that's about to open up.
Oh, no, I just said earlier on, if I'm going to do lots of masking and stuff, I'll try and do a Tamiya base coat to put under it. Bill says, I remember that episode of Game of Thrones that was too dark to see anything for the whole episode, and Netflix audio standard made it even worse. Yes.
Yeah.
James Retro Rabbit says, Plan 9 from Outer Space is one of the worst movies of all time. It is true.
Really?
Is that an Ed Wood? That's Ed Wood, isn't it?
I think it might be. Can't be definitive on that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think it might be. But the thing with Ed Wood is he had no pretensions. He knew he was making terrible films. He knew he was making schlock movies. And they kind of got a certain charm to them because they were no budget and they were pulp. But, Battlefield Earth, that was they were making a serious movie when they made Battlefield. Trust me on that. They were trying to get their word out to convert the mass. No.
There lies the problem. Convert.
Yeah. LD says water-based paint is a paint to clean the airbrush. Oh, that's all right. I mean, you clean it with whatever you normally clean with. Clean it with your thinners or your airbrush cleaner. I would have thought it'd be less durable than lacquers and enamels, but obviously they can be cleaned out with stronger solvents because you're using a solvent-safe airbrush anyway with lacquers and enamels.
You'll be amazed how many people don't.
Don't what?
I bought this cheap Chinese airbrush and sprayed lacquer for it. Now I can't use it. Why?
Yeah, it's like, well done, Ace.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Where do you want to start?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Some of the knockoff airbrushes, they're great for shooting gloss coats and things like that.
Oh, yeah. Some of them might be lacquer safe, solvent safe, but you just don't know.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you the description, but
yeah,
they'll also tell you in the description that they're made of gold and unicorn tears, so,
Oh, yeah. I'm a great believer in that you get what you pay for.
Yes. Yeah, you're not going to get $1,000 paint job with a £5 airbrush.
No. I got a cheap product. I got a cheap X, and it doesn't do this. Let's go back over that sentence. Which is the most important word in that sentence, do you think? Let's try and do some highlighting on Kroak's bonds, I think. I'm not sure what colours to... Oh, that's not really much lighter, is it?
What's that, dear?
Doing some highlighting on his bonds, and I thought Krieg khaki might be a nice light enough green colour, but it appears not to be. Oh, no, yes it is, It was too thin.
2 thin coats. See what I did?
2 thin coats. I see what you did there. It was seen and noticed.
Get your 2 thin coats here. 3 for £1. 2 for £1.
3 for £1. Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm just going to edge highlight his crinkly old skin. It might not be enough of a contrast.
I wonder what you was going to say, then.
His wrinkly old skin.
Try not to twitch, Carl, on this bit, mate.
God, I could spend days painting this dude.
On hands. There you go. We'll go.
It's very weird right now, but my computer's making a humming sound. I think one of the fans is making a little humming sound that is exactly the 1970s TARDIS control room sound.
Oh, really?
It's very weird. It's like, ooh. I feel like I'm in the control room of the TARDIS right now.
You kind of was hoping you was in the control room of the TARDIS deep down.
Cool, wouldn't it? Wouldn't we all want to be in the control room of the TARDIS? I'm not doing too many highlights on this. I'm just going to pick out the real sticky up edges.
Yeah.
I think. I don't want him to look like really edge highlighted. He's supposed to be a decrepit old mummy, so I just want to make it not all one kind of simple
Bring
colour.
that over a tad.
Tad.
A taddykins.
Tadularity. Now I did do a bit of purple around his mush, so I'll have to come with a different colour for that.
It needed a tad, he got a tad.
Tad is what you need, and a tad is what you should have, my friend.
There you go.
I'm using this paint quite thin, so I'm building it up as like a glaze, really.
All right.
So I can get some nice, subtle little graded highlights. It's not just dark colour, light colour, it's subtle. Which I'm trying to teach myself, because I'm not very good at this normally.
Of course you're not. But you'll be fine. I've got faith in you, dear.
You need faith. I'm not the best at highlighting, and I'm not great at glazing, so I like to try and get a go of it every chance I get. On clothing, I'm no use at all. Glazing and highlighting.
I'm sure you'll be fine, dear.
Yeah.
You are, after all, the guru.
No. I really should have chosen a different name, shouldn't I?
That's why you changed it to Guru Fox, then.
Well, I had to keep something in there, didn't I suppose?
Exactly. The bit we mock you for.
Anyway, I looked up guru, and it means teacher, not expert, so I'm happy now anyway.
Oh, right, okay.
I can let myself off the hook. You have to be good at something to teach it.
Well, just as well, then.
Yeah.
Especially with me.
Hey, enough of that now. Bony fingers, I'm painting all the bits.
Okay, let's put a bit of extra thin in there.
Sticking out my tongue.
In the go. So I kind of want them with braces so that when that attaches to the wall, it's got a bit of reinforcement. Oh yeah, all day long, my son.
Yeah, I like the fact you're applying like realistic design philosophy to this stairwell on the wall.
Yeah, you got it, mate.
How would it actually work if it was real? Well, you'd need this and you need that.
Got to have it functional, mate, ain't ya?
Yeah.
Can't just have a floated staircase. It's got to be adhered to the wall with proper bolts and that, because you do realise I am going to make my own bolt heads and stuff, because
this is acceptable. This is the Festa way. We know this.
Yeah, spider pigs are included, folks.
It's bad big.
Right, so
this is the Festa way.
They've got a cure for that can be attached, but I want to get that staircase attached at some point, because we're getting to that stage where it can start looking at being weathered a bit. So, but I can't do that with the stairs off. I need them on so that I can. Yeah, there's no point in having rusty, rain-covered stairs when the walls are all nice and clean. I want to try and have it.
Yeah.
A bit of uniformity. Uniformity, folks.
Uniformity. You need it all in place so you can get the weathering to be contiguous. I love that word.
Absolutely. All-inclusive weathering.
I don't know if it was the right word, but it's a good word.
Sounded good to me. I'll have that all day long, mate.
I suddenly realised a while ago how many words I actually learned through watching Star Trek. Like contiguous. I'd never even heard the word contiguous till I watched Star Trek Next Generation. So many words I learnt through Star Trek.
Star Trek is just, it's just one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've never watched the original series of more than 2 complete episodes. Don't know why, I just can't deal with William Shatner.
No, it's not aged well, bless it, the original series.
Yeah,
it's a classic and I've watched it, but it's...
Yeah, a bit cheesy, isn't it? It's a bit... Yeah.
Yeah, much as it sounds silly to say it, the modern series are more grounded in reality. I know it sounds stupid to say that, but you know what I mean. It's a product of its time. So, yes.
Bill says, Mystery Theatre 3000 is a good laugh, as then trash bad sci films.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you hear me say man in suit, that's a reference to Mystery Science Theatre 3000. Because every time Godzilla came on the screen, man in suit! Because it was just a bloke in a suit.
There are some biblical bad films out there.
Oh, yeah.
Any of the Sharknado films, Lava Ranchula, there's another good one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
They made 3 of them. My boy, bless him, on the system, we've got a folder full of bad films that we hunt down and just acquire because, there's another good one.
Yeah, those kind of films, you know they're going to be bad because they're just modern.
Exactly.
Nonsense.
Yeah.
There's bad films that they're just made to be bad, like your Screams, and then there's like bad films that the producer really wanted them to be good but just wasn't very good.
Exactly.
And then there's bad films that you should never watch, like the what's that basketball rubbish with the Warner Brothers characters, Space Jam, all those films. Really, no.
No idea where you've gone on there, mate. It's like,
they're like the bad films that you don't watch.
There are some mingers out there. There really are. But...
Oh, yeah.
And then you sit there, don't you? And you think, how did someone at a studio go, yeah, I'll give you a load of money to make that film? I say a load of money, about £4. But...
Sometimes it's actually profitable for the studio to do it. There's a director, you probably know, a director called Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
German guy. For anybody who doesn't know in chat, he's basically a German film director who spent a big chunk of the late 90s, early 2000s making absolutely terrible video game movies. I mean, absolutely disastrously bad films. And people always say, why did people keep giving him money? They knew he makes bad films. And it says because there was in Germany at the time some sort of compensation tax scheme, which meant if he made these terrible films and got government funding to do it, he actually made a profit.
Yeah.
So he knew he was making bad films.
And a lot of the bad films became cult films, therefore. They had quite a large underground student following, and that was the DVD market, wasn't it, back then?
Yeah. And that's what happened with Ed Wood. His films were so bad, they became absolute classics.
Yeah.
Cult classics. Which, your modern, really crappy things like Sharknado and stuff, they'll never attain that because they're just cheap. They're just cheap, piled up rubbish. But things like Ed Wood films and stuff.
They were films of their time.
Yep.
Certainly that.
Oh, excuse me, I've got the burps.
Look at you with your burpularity.
My belly's obviously thinking about the Subway in the fridge.
Well, before we started the show, I did neck down a tin of beans and tomatoes.
Oh,
beans and tomatoes, beans and sausages even.
Yeah. Approved filth.
Because I'd had an Xbox session, was proud of myself. So.
Yeah. Good lad. Well, last time I got a shopping order in, I included 8 cans of beans.
Man.
So I've got the beans and the bendy sausage if I want. At any moment I can unleash beans and bendy sausage.
You do like a late night bendy banger, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And I can unleash my inner student that never got a chance to exist.
Could have been said a bit better, that, couldn't it? But I knew what I meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I never miss a chance to get me bendy sausage on the bench.
Absolutely. Fox does love a good bendy sausage on a Friday.
Yep, I'm partial to a nice big bendy sausage. Text message from Pete tomorrow. You're all fired.
Yeah. Any more sausage innuendos, feel free to add them.
Yep. Doodle-doodle-doo. They got a little bit of definition to Kroak's head coming out.
Yep.
This is why I love miniatures, not just GW miniatures, but any miniatures, because you can just spend so long on one little bit of them.
Oh, yes, so long. As PJ goes, so very long, dear.
Yeah.
But
the thing is,
that's what it takes to get it right. That's what it takes.
Yeah. At the end of the day, no matter what your skill level, it's art, and, you take time with art. I see people that get these things, it's nothing with Games Workshop, but they get like miniatures and stuff, and they just battle through it and go bam, 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 painting. It's like, it's not, you're missing out on so much fun because you've.
Yeah, but not everyone's got the luxury you've got where you're not playing the game, you're painting to do the live streams with that. You're painting to a way that suits you. They're painting to a way where they might want to get tabletop ready so that they can go and play the game.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a valid thing. But I just mean people that just paint the models without playing the game. And it's like, we both know people that kind of churn them out, and it's like,
absolutely. Don't get me wrong, I mean.
You could just treat yourself to more time with it. And
again, don't forget as well, it's attention span. Not everyone's got that.
Yeah, true.
Longevity attention span. I could spend 6 months creating a diorama. People, ain't you bored with it? No, I'm not, because I'm creating my little world that I'm in. Whereas others might do that in a week or so. Well, that's up to them. Good luck to them. There's people that speed build. They're happy. That's what they want to do. That's what makes this hobby beautiful, because we all do things different ways. What works for one person might not be how someone else would do it, but you're still achieving the similar end result. You've got a model on your bench that you've put your heart and soul into. You're happy, aren't you?
Right.
I've got stuff that I built years ago, and you look at it and you think, my God. But it's great because it lets you see how you've improved or not improved, whatever way people want to look at it.
You can chart your journey, can't you? You can see the journey unfold.
I wish I had some of my really early stuff, but when I left home, it kind of got skipped. So,
yeah,
which was a shame, but hey-ho. My fault for leaving home, wasn't it? Whatever. But that's why I went on a mission at one point where I was trying to get hold of kits that I remembered building way back when. But it didn't feel quite the same because your skill set was a lot different back then. So you couldn't recreate how you did it back then because you've changed, maybe you've improved and techniques are different, so you're never going to get that same result.
No, I think the big thing as well, if you're visiting your childhood builds, is that you don't anymore have that sense of wonderment and unknowingness about the thing you do, because you've learnt skills and techniques by this point, and you're not naive like you used to be when you were a kid making these things. You've not got that sparkly naivety that fueled a lot of it.
I went through a stage where obviously with Brassic lint, where a lot of your early builds were vanilla builds, where it was the kit plastic. Just didn't have any paints to paint it with.
Nope. So
you would build the kit, slap the decals on, and that was it. And you would cringe at that now, but that's how you built back then, because you didn't have the money for paints and that, especially when you was a kid. You know, now and then Mum would treat me to a couple of tins of paint, but, you know, you couldn't do a shiny car in olive drab, could you?
No. I'm going to do something a bit unusual.
What's that, dear?
I'm going to actually use a purple.
You go careful.
I'm not a big liker of purple.
PJ says, hey, up cold doing some AK marker action. Well done, soldier. I'm trying to keep me twitches under control. I'm getting there, but it is a bit of a challenge today. But because I'm doing railings, I can't put too much pressure. So, PJ, I'm doing what you taught me in the Zoom, actually. Do it on an out-breath. He gave me a little bit of support with my twitches and shakes one night, did PJ, and have you tried this? Have you tried that? And yeah, because normally with an airbrush, I put a rubber band around my head. But
yeah,
it's a bit like a woodpecker today. You know, I'm having to use my twitching to my advantage. So
yeah,
people wondering why it is taking me so long to do it's because I keep twitching that way tonight, and I've got the banister there, and I don't want to keep putting black marker paint on it. But
no.
What'll be, will be, because it's got to be chipped and rusted yet, so...
Yeah, it's got natural decay on it, so some good will come of it.
But yeah, I've got the set, PJ, got sent them by Kev and Jackie, and yeah, they really are being put to good use, to be quite honest with you, mate. They have certainly got a place at the bench, they really have.
Oh, yeah.
I try putting that down. Can I get in there with it?
I mean, I've used the Uniposca pens, only a little bit, but I've used them, and they certainly have an amazing potential. Yeah. So pens of any kind, if you need a stiff, solid, like, paint application.
I like the tip on these, because the tip is so soft, yet very, very fine at the same time. And
yeah. Soft yet fine, and you're a girl like that one.
Can't go wrong with a nice soft tip. I know, it's difficult to say that without sniggering, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 5. But hey, you know,
you'll want puppies on it next.
He said puppy.
Really?
Really, Colin? Get a grip, mate.
Really?
That probably doesn't mean anything in your neck of the woods.
Oh, no, it does. Don't worry about that.
Right.
D.
Oh, dear.
Such a child.
I know, and I don't care.
I'm not criticising, because I'm exactly the same kind of thing. I'm exactly the child you are.
I really don't care. I've had people go, really? How old are you? 5.5.
Yeah. On a good day.
Yeah. Things can make us snigger.
Yeah, 5.5 when you're trying really to be grown up and important.
Yeah. I tried adulting once. It's boring. It's not what it's cut out to be.
No. Ooh, that's brought out the edge of his mouth quite nicely. Just very slight glazing of this mixture of... What was it?
No idea, mate.
Ushabti Bone and Screamer Pink, which is basically purple.
Yeah.
Just to make a very light glaze, just to go on the edges. And it just pops the edge of his mouth a little bit, makes it look a bit brighter.
So proud of you.
Because the thing about skin is you have to remember it's not just whatever colour the skin is, like in this case it's green. It's not just that colour. If you're painting flesh or something, be it human or otherwise, there's all different colours involved. If you're doing human skin, you want to include like blues and purples and greens and everything. Have fun with it. I'm still learning. I'm just messing colours around and seeing what happens.
That's why I have a pot of Oak turquoise with an H is for under the eyes on figures, and then you do your blends over the top of it and start filtering it down. But it gives that tired, haggard look under the eyes.
Yep. And you've got your blue greys for your 5 o'clock shadow kind of effect and all that kind of stuff. So I've given him kind of a very light sort of purplish tinge to his mouth area, but it's not like he's got purple lips. It's just he's a decayed corpse. He's a decayed mummy. It just makes it look a bit different.
Go full screen so people can see it, dude, because it's, you know, might not be visible to them.
Let's have a look. I don't have to go full screen, but I can focus it on it. There you go. Get the focus right away. It won't come out on open now. I can press the wrong button. There you go. Press the right button, you fool.
There you go. I'll put you full screen.
Focusing on that. There you go. The colours are all wrong on webcam anyway, but you get the idea. It's like it's a nice variation of greens and browns and out of focus.
There you go. You're full
greens and
screen.
Browns and purples. Yeah. It's a nice little variated colour.
There you go.
Just makes it look a bit more organic. It's a lot greener in real life. It's faded a bit on the webcam, but you know.
There you go.
I just think it makes it a bit more interesting. It almost makes it look bruised a little tiny bit. A little tiny bit. I'll put some more light colour around the edge. This is where I have fun, you see. Ever since because I've been trying to learn how to do this kind of like glazing and, you know, edge highlighting with very thin glazes and stuff. I've been trying to learn it for a long time. I find it fun to do. It's very difficult. I struggle with it, but
that's what I do with me figures and stuff.
Yeah.
Blends. That's why I use the contrast paints for blends and glazes, because it just works for me.
Yeah, you've been doing your figures for ages, haven't you?
Yeah. It surprised a lot of people, because I once got asked, what do you do when you're not live streaming and YouTube video making? What do you do to relax? Figure paint. And I got asked to start filming them, and I did start, and then real life got in the way, and I will carry on with the figures that I'm painting so that you can see it. So I got half the footage there, so it's one of them. It's like anything, when you do something to relax, to unwind, you don't always want to film it.
No.
But I said I would, so I shall.
And I'm finding it kind of quite relaxing painting at this scale, painting like, not necessarily human skin, but like craggedy skin or craggedy fleshy textures, like scales and animal things, just because it's kind of nice, and it kind of, it's you've got a lot of freedom to experiment with the colours and the tones and be a bit scruffy here and there. And it's just nice. I'm enjoying it. Like painting just a face, a normal human face that's all smooth. That's a lot trickier for me, because I couldn't paint the kind of figures you paint, the big figures, because nah. I mean, I probably could if I learned, but I've tried in the past, and it's like I haven't got them skills. I don't have those skills.
Yeah, I mean, it's what. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm an expert, not by a long shot. Wouldn't dare have the audacity to that. The internet would eat me alive, mate.
Yeah. You've certainly got more skill and experience at it than I have. So, and it's one of those things that, you know, the more you do it, the better you get.
What?
4. He's 4-4. 4-4-5.
4-5-4. Yeah. Right, so that end up going just up under there, so kind of already I would like it. Yeah, that'll work. And then that can be dulled down and washed and detritus. Detritus.
It's like I'm putting a little bit of wash into the little gap of his mouth there. Because I've done a purpley colour, I'm using a purple shade rather than just brown. Or black, which you'd normally expect.
Athol's off. See you later, Athol. There you go, mate.
Take care, mate. Ooh, I've got the tickly coughs.
Tickly cough, boom, 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 tickly cough.
Tickly cough and the exploding nose.
Let's see whether we've got some flat bars.
Talking about a flat bar. Flat bar. Water. Yes. Nice. Let's have a look at chat. Sophie said she was off to bed a little while ago. Good night, everyone.
No night, my darling.
Bill has pre-ordered Farming Simulator 25 with USB ignition switch with real keys, so that's November, all booked up for me. Cool.
Good man.
Yeah, I've played a little bit of Farming Simulator.
I've got Microsoft Flight Simulator that I want to get back into, and it's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That terrifies me. That I keep starting it and then exiting it straight away. I'm like, oh, I didn't...
I had an hover over the Hudson River, didn't I? I did Lower Manhattan. This was when us two was in an hangout, and I was proper going over the World Trade Center Memorial and stuff, and it was like, yeah, I'm hooked. And it was one of them. He said, oh, what settings have you got? I said, I don't know. I just installed it and I'm playing it. I've got no idea what I'm doing. I just launch a game and then just go for it.
Yeah, see what happens.
It's like,
what can possibly go wrong?
And then I start getting into the menu options, and it's like, yeah, I can turn all of that off. Don't need none of that. I'm a bit of a strange gamer, ain't I, mate? I just go in at the deep end, and I...
Nothing wrong with that.
Works for me.
That's probably what I'd do if I ever get the nerve to start it. Because at the end of the day, I've got to use my HOTAS for something. I don't play Elite Dangerous on the Xbox anymore because they kind of abandoned it, so...
I haven't got anything like that. It's just a box standard controller.
Yep.
I'm not that technical yet, but you never know. There's still hope.
Well, I only got mine to play Elite Dangerous, and that was like about 6 months before they said, right, we're not supporting it on computer and on console anymore. Thanks.
Really? I love that.
Yeah, they decided, well, they were doing this big update to include like walking around rather than just being in ship, and then they decided they couldn't do it on console, so we're going to do it on PC now. Console is just, it's wherever it is now, that's where it'll always be.
What a shame.
Yeah. Our mate Chris streams from Elite Dangerous, but he's streaming on PC, so...
Yeah. Good old Chris. The legend that is Gross Models. I reckon round about there should even that up.
Tiny hint of Zendry just on the corners of his mouth there.
Let's see. Could I do... You need to make a little lip for that to sit on, I reckon. That'll work.
I was woken up early this morning by all the little foxes running around making lots of noise in the garden.
I wish you.
Yeah, and I think one of them must have been sat on the fence and fell off because I heard this like slip, clunk, and then the sound of something very heavy hitting the metal bench and on the patio. I'm like, yeah, you just fell off the fence, didn't you?
Yeah, it just rung out, didn't it?
Yep, that's something falling off the fence.
I'll name that tune in one.
I went out the other day and found this like just enormous collection of what I can only assume are like ball pool balls, little tiny plastic tennis ball sized balls that obviously somebody's had in their garden that these little fox cubs have kind of stolen and play with. All over the garden there. I'm like, wow, really? Bless.
Bill says, I may have already purchased the tractor steering wheel and side panel with the front loader stick. Good man.
Good man. I didn't even know those things were available. I knew for like train simulators you can get like full-on like train dashboards, especially in Japan where they're really popular.
He don't do things by halves, that Bill, does he?
Nah. When they finish making a mummy, asks Bill, does someone shout, that's a wrap? Oh.
Sure it did there.
Get your coat, Bill, says PJ. And then Bill says, I've pulled. I'm not really your type. It
was a good joke, though. Let him have that.
Thanks to Colin mentioning beans and sausages, says Jasmine. I'm now cooking sausages for the morning, saves getting up early and doing them.
Good man.
LD says Gundam Breaker is out in 7 days. Ooh. Never played those Gundam games. I watched the opening night of Gamescom, you know, the German Games Festival.
Oh,
and I have
right,
to say, nothing really floated, blew my beans out.
Really?
Apart from, I mean, Borderlands 4 was announced. Okay, cool. I like Borderlands, that'll do.
Because last year it was Starfield Fever, wasn't it? It was,
and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, Borderlands 4 they announced, I'll be up for that. They've shown a bit more of Stalker. I'm looking forward to that. That looks good. But yeah, most of the big announcements, it was like, not really interested in any of those. Thanks. Indiana Jones, yeah, I'll be up for that. Only about 3 games I'm looking forward to, really.
Yeah, I just tend to have a look on Game Pass, see what's on there, and if it floats me boat, I'm like, yeah, I'll have a go at that.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. Well, and I'll be getting Stalker when that comes out, Stalker 2, and I'll be getting Indiana Jones when that comes out. But other than that, not really. Anything that blew my mind, blew my tiny dinosaur mind, not really. Lots of Japanese RPG stuff, which doesn't float my boat at all.
Yeah, I don't really go for the RPG stuff. I'm not into the one-person shoot-'em-up type stuff either. It's not. I mean, I don't want to fancy run around doing.
Yeah. No, I'm not a big RPG fan, apart from, like, you know, your Fallouts and your Skyrims, which is sort of art. It's not full-on RPG where it's turn-based combat and stuff like that. Apart from that, I'm not really into RPGs.
I must admit, I haven't been to see Gary for a week.
Oh, you'll be getting the stink eye. You will be
is
getting
he gonna be miffed, isn't he, eh?
You are so going to get the stink eye now.
Mate, you know what I'll do? I'll end up giving him a treat just to try and get myself out of the hole.
$5,000. That's a well-loved dog, that is. Tell you.
Yeah, it's a packet of treats. I don't know how many you get for it. That's the thing.
Oh.
He's had a couple. I haven't run out yet, but...
Oh, I thought that was just one treat. Oh, wow.
No, it's a packet, but still a lot of money.
Bad for a packet, yeah. $5,000. What universe does that game exist in?
Yeah. I was like, really? Very pampered is Gary.
Yeah.
Does he appreciate it?
No.
Does he? Yeah, because, like, he doesn't care.
Now, you've been a father to a teenage son before now. You should be all used to all this.
I was pretty lucky with them, to be quite honest with you, during their teenage years. Don't get me wrong, they had their moments.
Oh, yeah.
But, no, they didn't really go all out, to be quite honest with you. I think they realised, especially with Cal and his Technicolor hair dyeing, I think he realised after a point that he was losing, because I may have pointed out to him that his mum had pink hair, orange hair, green hair, all kinds of colour. Yeah, so that he couldn't shock us, no matter what he tried.
Like...
He did try, I'll give him that.
Yeah. You were like, that's nice, son, try again.
And H would go, oh, that looks nice, love. And you could just see him go, huh? But yeah.
It's like when I got my first tattoo and Mum Wolf says to me, go and show Auntie Joan next door. She's like in her 80s. She's a big, jolly old lady.
Yeah.
So I went next door and she went, oh, that's nice. I'm like, okay, so you're not quite the prissy old lady I thought you were. Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, no, my Bean loved it. Yeah, no, it was, to go for it. Makes your body do what you like. You know, she was like, oh, as long as you don't get them done on your face.
Yeah.
That was her only thing, and I was like, yeah, no worries.
Don't worry, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it was one of them, innit? But a lot of people at the time it was quite funny because it was quite polarising in the family when I started getting a bodysuit done. And, you've gone too far. And it's ironic how many of them have since gone on and had sleeves of their own and that. And it's like, all them years, people kept judging you. And they went and done the same anyway. And it's like, yeah.
You've gone too far. Well, it's my body.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm not being funny. It was easier than asking people why all the white dots were up and over me when I got sunburnt, you know?
Yeah.
Far easier for them to get some artwork to look at, wasn't it?
Mm.
What have we got? New World of Warcraft expansion's coming out. Marcy is in saying, Cole, big hugs. Hello, Marcy. And
Hey, Marcy.
a big hug as well. There you go, love. And yes,
No, Don.
I am in fear.
I know my place.
Bobbin says, I'm looking forward to the next Dragon Age game once I've finished Horizon Forbidden West. There you go. Everyone saying good evening to Muse. Fear. See, they're all scared, Marcy.
Yeah.
See, that's what it is.
She's got them where she needs them to be, which is terrifying.
You do well in here, love. You just, I'm here. We're all there. We're like the terracotta army, all stood to attention, mate. Owen says, I'm still playing the game, 14 years strong. Good man.
Yeah.
Arcee says, they've ruined WoW. It is too clean. Yes. LD says, we're having lots of problems with my middle daughter with a diagnosis. She was denied an autistic diagnosis because she has had ADHD traits, and the ADHD one went wrong because of autism traits. Well, I hope you get it sorted out, mate, because, yeah, there's nothing worse, mate. You know, it's a huge thing. With me, it was my hearing in school. Used to always get accused of not paying attention and all of that. It was like, you can't bloody hear. And then you get your thing where they say, oh, yeah, you're mutton. And it's like, see, you know.
Told you.
So, yeah, there is that.
Yeah, told you, but ironically, you weren't listening.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of them. It was frustrating, but like I say, it wasn't widely known. You know, I'm more on the Asperger's side of things, where I get vocally quite your inhibition button isn't always accurate, should we say, so you can be a little bit, I wouldn't say aggressive with your tone, but blunt with your tone, certainly.
Yeah.
You don't
Outspoken, maybe.
Yeah, and people can think that you're being offensive. It's one of those. I could pay you the best compliment in the world, and it sounds like I'm being really sarcastic.
Yeah.
So you guard your words very carefully, but there's only so far you can do that, and occasionally you do get it wrong, you know. But not everyone understands it, so yeah, it is what it is. Right. How the hell are we going to adhere that? Let's have a think. All right, I'm debating hot glue, but I don't want to burn the styrofoam. But it's super glue will eat it. Perhaps some really strong Elmer's glue might do it, but
Maybe. Is there any way you can pin it as well?
yeah, potentially there is. You want the actual braces to dry a little bit more, but I'm tempted to fire a little bit of brass rod through, stealthily drill a hole that I can cover with a bolt head.
Yep.
But then sink that into the back just to give that a little bit more rigidity. Because it's going to have a figure on it, see?
Yeah.
But I think that'll work, you know, the old staircase. I like it. It's different. Definitely engineering it with the brace bars has worked well.
What time do you want to go to, by the way, tonight, buddy?
No later than past, Fox, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Because I need to do an injection. So.
Yep. I've got to go and make sure Mum's eating, drinking and things.
Yeah. So.
Give a pills.
Without going into too many details. But yeah. Okay, so we've got that, and that.
Bit more green on that bit, on his back.
Let's have a think.
Look at chat. I come into my own in chat, but I'm a robot in real life, says Bill. I'm the same. I'm chatty in chat, but put me in an actual speaking to someone face to face, and I'm like...
Oh, yeah, I'm terrible. I used to be really extrovert, outgoing, and all of that lot, but since I've been cocooned, it's like total opposite now.
Bill says, stand if you haven't already, Col. It's been 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm upright now, mate. I'm gripping said bench because we are on one's leggage. Thanks for the heads up, mate. I did stand a little bit earlier on, but...
Yeah, you were hunting around stuff, weren't you? What colour should I do this rope thing? I don't know. Necklace. What colour should that be? Where is my... whatever it was. But no, I don't want that. I want to be a Viscount.
LD says you've missed the chewing gum on the handrail. Yeah, don't forget this has all got to be weathered down yet. But, yeah. Someone said about graffiti, but I don't think graffiti was a thing back then. And could you imagine in occupied Berlin, or especially with the political party that was in charge at the time, I don't think you would have got away with graffiti. You'd have been stood up in the corner and shot for your trouble. So.
Yeah, graffiti wasn't really a thing. There weren't really a lot of rattle cans around in the 1940s.
No. Got some posters going on the walls anyway that I meticulously created.
Oops. Meticulously, you say?
Very meticulously.
Meticulously. Interesting.
I suppose we could have a quick look, see that things are beginning to come together. I must print off my manhole covers and drain covers and get all of them printed.
Suddenly got the shakes from somewhere.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
It's fun, isn't it?
Right when I need to paint like a necklace thread.
Go on and out breath.
Yeah.
Or do what I do. Get your pinky finger, wrap pinky finger around it. Hold your hands, mate.
Kind of clamping my hands like that around the handle. It seems to work a little bit.
Yeah. Pleasures of us.
Yeah, I think I've taken my pills today, so...
A bit late now if you haven't, innit?
Well, yeah.
I lose track, to be honest with you.
It won't be the first time I've taken my pills at like 2 in the morning going, oh, crud, I didn't do it earlier. You know, yeah.
Oh, it's better. It's fun if you take your downers in the morning and you're uppers at night. That's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Something's not right.
Yeah, I just like... Your pill box, which way round did you take your compartment out? Why? You're a bit hyper, love. Oh, am I? Yeah, you might have taken the wrong ones.
Always makes me laugh when I go downstairs and Mama Wolf's going to bed and she's sat there trying to turn the TV off with the pill thing in her hand rather than the remote control. I'm like, yeah, that's not the remote control. Is it not? Oh, I said, I need to get your eyes checked. My eyes are fine. You've just tried to turn the television off with your pill dispenser. Okay.
Oh, bless her. Something like so. If of him coming out of there. Yeah. We're happy with that.
Oops. Come on, Hans. Behave.
We've got Tedward. Churn man.
So I've got little jewels on his necklace here, on his headdress thing you can see, and I'll tidy them up later. That'll be done once I've done everything else. Because what I'll need to do is, at some point, I've got to varnish this little fella. The whole thing, the whole kit, I've got to figure out my order of varnishing. Because obviously I need the golds and stuff to be shiny, but I need the flesh and everything else to be matte. So it does make things tricky. So with things like the metallics and the golds, I'll get everything else painted, matte varnished and done, and then I can go back as the very last step to paint all the metallic highlights. So that'll be the very last step.
Right. Some of that on there. A jaunty angle.
Jaunty angle, always a good choice.
He's going to be doing that.
Graffiti, it's a magical place, says Bill. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reference.
Oh, right, okay.
I got to 44 and started having more meds now. I'm 47. I have a nice collection to take.
Every birthday you get a new one to take. That's the one that always makes me giggle.
Let's do the old man thing then. How many are you on a day then, Cole, do you reckon?
19.
Blimey, I'm on. What am I on? 4.
Yeah. At the moment, yeah.
Bill says, you should grind down a little blue pill and inject it into your fingers. Guaranteed no shaking.
See what you did there.
LD says, Sunday every 2 weeks is pillbox filling day. I do mine weekly.
Oh, yeah, I do mine on a Sunday, and then they're all, you know. Right. I got me up until halfway through the day pillbox, and then the other one is my evening pillbox.
LD says to you, the stairs really bring it to life.
Yeah, it's got to, isn't it? I mean, there is another truck to go in, which is the milk truck. So he's going to go in round about there. That can go tighter to the doors. Because I don't want to cover the manholes for a reason.
Gentlemen, never cover your manholes. Sounds wrong.
He shoved that in there. You then got him stood somewhere around the back there getting his crate off. Whatever. This churn bloke was fun to do because when the kit arrives, you got no way of him holding the churn, so I drilled through his hands so that he could be carrying on, just to make it look a bit more realistic. So I did that very early on in the build when I was doing the figures, but I do think it makes it work a bit better, personally, you know, because it just, yeah, you know, a few little milk runs down the churn there. Yeah, he's going to be round about there. That's Ted, that one, because he looks like Ted. Got a moustache, so that's Ted, that one. And then in the back, obviously, you've got your different bottles of gubbins and stuff. He's going to be on the stairs, this bloke. He's coming out of the old Diana up the top there. Like that. And he's going to be round about there. Old Igor, or whatever you want to call him. Bernard.
Bernard. Very American Bernard.
He's going to be up there it's difficult to hold it all into place. The key's going to be getting the stairs attached, and I'll have them attached ready for next week, I think, because they're now holding me up a bit.
Yeah, that's going to take you some fiddling and fettling, isn't it?
Yeah, so I want to secure them during the week. And then I'll go around, because I can't place any posters yet until I'm happy where things are going to go.
Yep.
Debating whether it needs a poster on this wall, but I don't want to overdo it. I think round by the cafe, I've got the brewery going on the doors. Got to print them off this week, the decals for that. The rest of them are going to be paper posters because I've got to weather them, tear them, and go over them with a wet tea bag, that sort of thing, just to age them up. And then I'll have my manhole covers can go in. That way I can then do the gravel around the stones, because the manhole covers will be permanently in situ then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's beginning to come together, I think. But it's just, hopefully you're getting what I'm showing you there. It's difficult to hold everything up, at the moment. Well, Bernard and his big joint there.
Yeah, you kind of need to see it all together, don't you, to really get...
Yeah, I'll try and
helps to see it.
Move the camera with my other arm. And hopefully you can see that a bit better, would you reckon, peeps?
Yeah.
There you go. Ignore the stairs, they're a bit bronze and list at the moment. That's because I'm trying to hold them. And then obviously I've got to go around the edges and treat all of that. That's not a problem, I know that. But I can't do that until I've finished painting and weathering. I'm liking it. It's coming together, isn't it?
Coming on very, very nicely, that, Benny.
So hopefully you're liking that, folks. EJ says, I don't take any pills unless it's pills, PIOS. You're lucky, mate. You know. Blessed with 20/20 vision, and you don't take any pills at the age of 111 to 12. You should be proud of that, mate.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got posters. First up, we got Milk.
Milk.
We then got brewery poster.
Yeah.
For those that like I have a drinkykins. And they're all in the German lingo. Band night at the local music club. Bit of the old, Whispering Bob. He was probably alive even then. Great.
Bit of the old umpire band at the old
beer keller. Bit of the old, what are them trousers? Lederhosens and all of that.
Late order. For some reason, Amazon suggested you get your suggested things that Amazon thinks you might like.
Yeah.
Lederhosen was on my list the other day. I'm like, what?
Absolutely. You've then got movie poster as well, folks. That was Rendezvous, German film, basically, folks.
Yep, that's the one.
And then you've got the piece de resistance, translated to German. eModels am Montag leben mit Oxfester, Ted and Chris.
Das ist richtig.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, just a little egg in there, but there's 2 other eggs going in. And people that go to see it in the shop, the challenge is to find all of the eggs. Eggs is what I put in every build I do. There's always something in there that shouldn't be there. It's not just this eModels poster. That is only one of several eggs that are in the kit.
Oh, yeah. It's all about them eggs.
So, yeah, there are going to be some eccentricities.
Oh, no. Really?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, yes, I went there and I'm happy with that.
You're ecstatic about that now, aren't you?
I am. I see what you did there. Yeah. But no, I'm liking how it's coming, because this is what was in my head way back when I was doing this red truck. And do you remember I 3D printed a little thin attempt at a bit of road just to stand it on something, and I left it literally just on the shelf next to my 3D printer. And I kept looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. And then I started doing this little milk truck, and I thought, oh, that's a little market. Nice little bit of market, you know.
Something went ping.
Yeah, and then that was it.
Does.
And I thought, what are you going to have? You're going to have a butcher's stall. You're going to have a little cafe there. That'll be a milk delivery, a little bar there. So it'll have brewery. So this was it. I finally found a way of tying stuff together.
Yep.
And obviously, anyone who's a Formula One fan will know that is Valtteri Bottas, isn't it? Oh, I was so want to sculpt a little blonde mullet on it. Just to make it look more like him, but that is Valtteri Bottas, folks, of the Formula One world. Look at that. It's a ringer, mate. But I really enjoyed painting that apron for some reason. Don't know why.
Yeah, I remember that was one of the first things you painted, and I was like, that looks really good.
Yeah. And then of the box art of the barrels, man, that is definitely Jasmine. I'm looking for the box art. There it is. It's buried under their cup. They know you've kept it, your old chisel.
Chiselines.
There he is. Look, you. Now, Jasmine is in the chat. Anyone that's met Jasmine in the Zoom, tell me that isn't Jasmine rolling out that barrel. Either that or Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, spot on.
Put a pair of bins on him. Oi, Ivy. I've only got myself a keg, love. Don't say anything to the neighbours. But it's a sim, innit? It is a ringer, mate.
You are not wrong.
So, yeah.
It is uncanny.
It's so gonna call me names now. I know it. I know it's coming. Where did that come from? Came from in there, the options. Right. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's coming along. Like I say, if I can get me stairs on during the week, I can then give it a satin varnish to protect where I've got to now.
Yeah, because that's then taken care of, isn't it?
And then I could start just go around then and just have it on me lazy Susan and be spinning it around and doing little bits and bobs then. Debating whether to put all the figures and that in place yet or wait until I've done the base rainy day, because the market ain't there every day. It'll rain on days it ain't there. So I might just weather everything. Yeah, it's only going to be washes and that. But I need to put a satin varnish down just in case any of the washes, because obviously I can only use water-based stuff on this.
Well, the thing is as well, once you've done all the weathering on the base, on the diorama, you'll know what weathering to do on the shoes and feet of the dude sitting on it.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. But
how far you want to go with it.
Hopefully folks are beginning to like that, because, I do. It's grown on me, to be quite honest with you. Little things like angling the drain cobbles just so that you've got a gully. Little touches, you know.
Angle in the car.
Happy days, mate. So we're going to be wrapping in 5 minutes, mate, if you want to start cleaning your brushes, because I do need to go on time, I'm afraid, mate.
No, that's fine. I'll go and get some warm water.
If you could, mate, because, I'm on a tight schedule. What have we got? LD says, awesome. Marcy says, looks great. Thank you very much, Marcy. Means a lot. I love it. Owen says, nice diorama. Can't wait for the end result. Yes, once I've done all the washes, I can then put me edge treatments on and all of that lot. So PJ says, lots of diorama awesomeness going on there. Oh, thank you very much, PJ. Because it was one of those. I was speaking to Fox off air before I started this one, and I didn't know whether I was going in the right direction, because I do enjoy doing this sort of stuff, and wanted to go back and get some of it filmed and let people see it, but I didn't know whether I was taking a risk or not. And
definitely going in the right direction.
Certainly enjoying them, because I can create a little story from, very simple kits, really. I mean, I could have sent them back to eModels. They'd have had a set of butchers, a milk truck, and a beer truck, but there would have been no context, would there, to it? And I just thought, bring them together. People can see what they can do. There's a MiniArt staircase. There's a butcher's set. But they can see what you can do with simple equipment and tools.
Yeah,
and for me,
nothing wrong with
nothing
wrong with models sat on. Yeah, nothing wrong with models sat on the shelf. But if you can tell the story
says, so has the paint Raggy been added? Yes, there is Raggy, and Raggy was put in the barrel.
Oh.
There is a piece of Raggy in the barrel. I am running out of Raggy, but I do have Raggy 2.
Oh.
So there is a second Raggy. So yeah, it is very sparse now with bits of Raggy.
Raggy 2 will do it a pinch.
Yeah.
Is Raggy 2 still forming slowly over time?
Raggy 2's been forming for about the last 4 years, mate.
Nice.
I think there's areas of Raggy 2 that are a lot more... So I'll wait until you've done your brush. That are a lot more rigid than Raggy 1 was, mate.
Really?
Yeah. Various gloss varnishes and all kinds of gubbins have been spilt on it.
So Raggy 2 is Raggy perfected.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort to cultivate a really good Raggy, and I'm pretty impressed with it. It's it's looking a bit mingy, which is good. Mingy works.
Yeah, mingy's good.
Happy days. Right. So that's me a finish. I'll go full screen just quickly so that people can see a little bit closer as to what we've got going on, because half a screen is all right, but every now and then it's nice to see a bit of all screen gubbins. That's not his final place. That's just so that you can see him
in situ.
In situ. There you go, folks.
Yeah.
Gives you an idea. And the trucks aren't in their final position yet. They'll get moved around and jiggled until I'm happy, and then I'll fix them in place. But that gives you an idea, peeps, of where we're going. Okay. Hopefully I'll have the decals done as well for the doors next week. We can get them on. And then we can start weathering this bad boy up. So there you go, peeps.
I love the window. My favourite bit of the diorama is the window.
You like that, don't you?
I do like that window.
So there you go, folks. So that's that. Have you some of that?
Nice.
Did you want me to bung your full screen so you can show
me?
No,
I'll just say, just very quickly, I've just been fettling with Lord Kroak. There's not a lot to show, really. I've just put some depth to his bandages with a couple of different washes, some magrax and some sapphire tone. Highlights on the skin and the flesh and stuff, and it's just been fettling with him tonight. And I got the base blue on the skink there.
Oh, nice one, mate. It's looking good, mate. It's looking good.
But yeah, it's just tiny work for me tonight. So
Jasmine says, I wonder if one of Festa's eggs is that if you look closely at one of the bricks on the pavement, you will see Pete on his yacht with a brandy in his hand. You never know. You never know.
I've just got this phrase, Festa's eggs, now, which...
Yes, put an image in your retinas. Here, PJ, just think of the hot pants and say Festa's eggs. Yeah, that's going to spoil your night's sleep.
Yeah.
On that note, folks, before Barcy ends up in need of an emergency doctor, we'll love and leave you there. Thank you so much for coming in and keeping us two idiots company. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Friday Frolic over on my channel, Festa67's Workshop. Look forward to seeing you then. Stay safe, everyone. Stay well. We'll see you on the next one. And we're back Monday on the air with the gang of 4. Regular eModels show Monday. Okay, folks?
Yep.
Bye-bye for now.
Here's some eBiz.
Bye.
Diorama.